Hola, I'm reading Gaby, and I'm here to talk about T is for Trespass by Sue Grafton. Super large print, so large print mystery. You can probably read it from here. Beginning slowly with the day-to-day life of Private Eye Kinsey Millhone, the story suddenly shifts to Solana Rojas, introducing readers to a chilling sociopath. That's the understatement. Rojas is not her birth name. It is an identity she cunningly stole, an identity that gives her access to private caregiving jobs. Though set in the late 80s, T is for Trespass could not be more topical. Identity theft, elder abuse, betrayal of trust, the breakdown in the institutions charged with caring for the weak and the dependent. It reveals a terrifying but all too real rip in the social fabric. Oh, cover design by Lisa Amoroso. I didn't see that before. It's not much of a design. Sorry. Anyways, let's get to it. We're moving along on the alphabet. T is almost to the end, as we all know the alphabet. Alright. She said her and Cheney aren't together now. She hasn't said what happened though. Boo. It's basically she liked being alone. She's used to it. And basically just kind of caused issues. So no more Cheney and Kinsey. It ended just as quickly as it started. Well, no love interest for poor Kinsey. But it doesn't seem like she wants it, so yeah, good for her really. If you want to be single, more power to you. If that is what makes you happy, then great. To Solana, having cancer is as shameful as alcoholism. I'd say so is stealing people's identity, but okay. She says that, and then she follows everything else in the book with completely shameful acts. So I don't want to hear it, Solana. Like this one, Solana is drugging poor Gus. Gus is Kinsey and Henry's neighbor, grumpy neighbor. The book started... Actually, it started with Solana. Oh, here it is. He started with falling and hurting his... I forgot to say what it was. I think it was just the shoulder. Yeah, shoulder. Okay. So, anyways, he, like I said, is really old. He's like, I think in his 80s, 70s? No. 70s or 80s, but I want to say it was the 80s. He was, I think he said she said, a similar age to Henry, but you could tell, like, the differences in how they aged. Like, Henry is more active, and he's not. But anyways, poor Gus here fell, hurt his shoulder, and of course, elderly, that's kind of a more serious thing than, like, somebody my age. I say as I'm 30. But anyways. So, and he only has... a niece, I think it's the family, great niece, some kind of niece, is his only family member surviving, and she lives, I think, in New York. No, I don't know. She lives in a different city than wherever the heck she lives. She actually says it. Santa Teresa, California. Yeah, so I don't think it was New York that she lived in, but it may have been. Sorry, got distracted. I was trying to read the book again. It's just that good. Now, anyways, so she finally comes down, kind of hires some help, and it is this fake Solana, fake Solana person. Oh, I can't remember her real name. It was like Christina or something. Anyways, Solana here is now drugging poor Gus, planning on killing him like she did on a previous patient. Talk about angel of death. There's Ratchet. I can't remember that's a reference though. That might not be the right one. But Angel of Death, because she was like, oh, well, these people were like old and suffering anyways, so who cares? I'm like, God, shameful. Solana then changed the locks for Gus's house. Kinsey finally found the witness of a car crash. Oh, I forgot to say, she was working on a case during all this that involved, I think it was like a college kid named Lisa May and two old people, another elderly couple. A lot of old people in this book. What is this, Miami? But, where was I? Yeah, a car crash, not college, between the two, where Lisa was making a left turn. Technically, she was at fault, legally, but, hey, I've been there before. But the problem is this elderly couple seemed to have pretty much done it on purpose, because the way Lisa told the story, they had their turning signal on and slowing down to make a turn, I think like a block away or maybe the same part that she was on. So she thought she could turn, safely. Well, she could not. But basically they did it on purpose, and that's what Kinsey is pretty much trying to prove. And to see if, in fact, they did it on purpose or not. Because at this point, we don't know. But yeah, they're trying to, claim, what part was hurt. I think a shoulder again, or arm. Or no, she couldn't, the little lady Gladys, could barely walk. She can't work anymore. Can't sit for long because of this car crash. And there was a witness, a guy. I thought it was going to be a younger guy. I don't know why I was picturing a younger man. But he was a grandpa, actually. And he was short of being helpful for some reason. Sketchy. After the visit, he packed up and left. Not only is Solana an elderly abuser, she is a rapist. Disgusting. Go to hell. I don't like her. I was like, she is disgusting. It wasn't for her pleasure, it was so he could sleep easier. She fondled him. Sorry, can't say it. Ugh. Kinsey reported Solana for elderly abuse, but they were useless. Who could have figured that? So the witness was named Melvin, and he is likely a pedo. Hence why he ran after being caught of being close to a daycare or something. I don't know if it was a daycare of a preschool or basically where kids are. Wherever it is. The neighbor of Gladys and Miller, the old couple, confirmed Gladys fell off a ladder and indeed did not get her injuries from the car wreck with Lisa May. We all knew they were lying, but it's nice to see proof. Solana put Gus's house up for sale. She is, she's something else. Kinsey was working a case that led her to the same apartment Solana lives in. This was a separate case than the car crash or anything like that. As Solana caught her car parked and assumed she was catching up to her. Well, now she's moved out, and Kinsey is back at the same apartment building, now looking for her, but was told her real name. I think it was her real name, and actually, can't remember what name they said. There was quite a few names used. Go figure. Solana then put a protection order against Kinsey after hiring somebody to vandalize her own car. Oh boy. There's a place in a private residence that castrates men like Melvin. I was like, oh, good. But apparently it's voluntarily so. It took away his libido. Personally, I'd rather see him dead, but, there's that at least. Whatever. Now, there's a woman named Peggy who had a grandmother who was killed by fake Solana. She found Kinsey. There was an altercation between Peggy and fake Solana at, was it a shopping mall? Yeah, because there was an escalator involved. She went from the bank, I guess the bank was inside the mall. I live in a small town. What do I know of these things? But, Peggy recognized her, was calling her by, I think it was like Athena or some A name. Definitely not Solana. And followed her and kind of like wrestled with her a little bit. Not really, but kind of tangled with her. And ended up getting her wallet. And Solana put down her apartment address in there. She was gonna keep the real Solana's address, but apparently that caused issues before. Who would have thunk it? Stealing identity causes issues. The horror, the shock, the humanity. But anyways, so that's how Peggy got to the apartment when Kinsey was also at the apartment looking for clues. So yay. Kinsey and Peggy then sprung Gus out, and Peggy got him to the hospital, where they called the cops on fake Solana. Yay. I was afraid Gus would die. I don't even think we've heard of his name until this one, but I hate to see an old man like murdered for no reason. Self-defense against old man, whatever, but if the old man's a pedo like Melvin, whatever, not innocent. Yeah. But Gus, his like biggest crime was being a hoarder and being a little grumpy. He was like that get off my yard kind of grumpy. You know, that's not really a crime or a death sentence, so. But Tiny, I forgot to say, fake Solana has a son, whose real name, I think was Tino or something like that. He wasn't quite right in the head, and mind you, this was 1988, and I think it said it was like 37 years ago or something like that. So, well, back then, they were telling her to just put him away in an institution. So, but she didn't. There's that, at least. She raised him, well, by the family, because she's also, like, actually, it says it right here. Hold on a minute. 6 kids. She's a product of 6 kids. Or maybe it's 7. Well, there's like 7 of these people. Thankfully, I think she's the only one in that family who's bad. We never see any from her family, though. Except for in Solana's eyes, but even then there's no, like, visitation or anything. Well, anyways, they gave the kid a nickname of Tiny, even though he was not tiny. Well, Tiny attacked Kinsey, but she won, and he died in a grim way. First, she bit his private parts off, basically. I don't know if she bit them off, or if she just bit really, really, really hard. So, good for her. If ever somebody has you in a tight grip with their thighs, we now know what to do. Hey, I think it would work if it was a woman too. Survival is important, okay? Just attack. It probably would work with the thighs too, but you know, he was a man, she was there. Yeah. I think she said, like, even brought up a dog, like, I hunched down like a chihuahua or something. It wasn't a chihuahua, but I can't remember the dog. Then she got in her car, and he started attacking the car to get to her. He ended up breaking the driver's window and was choking her. She managed to drive off fast and ripped his arm off. Unfortunately for her, the arm stayed with her. Oh, I forgot to mention. Excuse me. Well, obviously Solana could not let that go. So she basically toyed with her like a cat and mouse. And first showed up in her apartment while she was sleeping. Oh, after she cut off the power. Was that the first thing? Yeah, whatever. And then at some point, she took photos of Kinsey on her run and sent it to her. It was basically like, figure out where I am. And then she took Henry. She called Henry and was like, oh, I have Kinsey here. And she's gonna die, or blah, blah, blah. Henry didn't really believe her, but he couldn't take that chance. And Kinsey was like, I would have done the same thing. regardless. And she did, because Solana called her, said that she has Henry, and there she went. So they got into a fight. I can't remember what she did to her, but basically it ended up with Solana getting caught, but she threw herself off it was a hotel that she was in, hotel balcony, into the pool. I don't know if she maybe thought she could land in water safely, or if she was trying to kill herself or what. But basically, she ended up drowning. So, because she was injured, I think maybe even shot. I guess I can't remember. That was like the end of the book. I don't know what happened. But that's a lot of pages. Hold on a minute. I will tell you what happened. Oh yeah, there's the... Okay. Oh, she sent a tarantula to her as well. I forgot about that part. Okay. Okay. Cool. Here. Yeah, so she was obviously planning on killing Henry because Kinsey killed Tiny. Oh, that's right. So she had a fanny pack on her, Kinsey did, and of course with the gun. Solana said, "First let me have your fanny pack. Gus told me you own a gun. It wouldn't surprise me if you had it with you. I don't, but you're welcome to look." And when she reached for it, Kinsey grabbed her by the arm and jerked her towards her. She lost her balance and toppled forward as I brought my right knee up to meet her face. There was a lovely popping sound. She sprawled to her knees, her hands thrown in front of her. Kinsey kicked her to the side and stomped on one of her outstretched hands. Solana had a syringe, some kind of poison or whatever. Or no, it was a paralyzer, basically. So, blah, blah, blah. She went to go help Henry. Solana saw that, came after her in a flying tackle. Kinsey stumbled onto the coffee table and dragged Solana with her. Big Solana, that is. The coffee table tipped over. I knew she was bleeding somehow. The bowl of roses bounced on the carpet and settled upright. The roses still perfectly arranged. Anyways, Kinsey grabbed the bowl, hit her in the upper arm, which loosened her grip. I flipped over to my knees. She launched at Kinsey. She hung on while I rammed her into the side repeatedly with my elbow. I kicked back at her, catching her on the thigh, inflicting as much damage as I could with the heel of my running shoe. Fake Solana came after her yet again. She laced her hands together and brought them straight up, which broke Solana's hold. I torqued myself to one side, grabbed her by the wrist, and pivoted. So, this continues. She banged backwards through the French doors of the balcony. Oh, I watched her to use the railing to pull herself up. Oh, okay, so I didn't realize she was hanging on to the balcony. Shows how well I was paying attention. We were only one floor up, and it wouldn't take him long. Yeah, so she was only one floor up, so she may have just thought that she could make it. Or she was trying to kill herself, I don't know. She struggled briefly, so she fell into the water, struggled briefly, then went still. It made no difference whether she'd fallen or jumped. She landed face down, hitting her head on the edge of the pool. That's right, before she slid into the water. I knew I was forgetting something. At the shallow end, the water was only 2 feet deep, and that was sufficient. She drowned. Okay. So, in case all that was cut by my lovely, beautiful editor, she ended up falling off the balcony, or jumping, hit her head on the side of the pool, and then she drowned, which of course she was knocked out, and nobody was there to help her, so. Okay, I know I was forgetting, like, a major thing. This is what I get for not writing it down. I was like, I forgot to write it down, I'm gonna forget. I was like, I won't forget. I don't know myself, apparently. Yeah, I forgot. So now I'm on, I don't have the book up here. No. Now I'm on U is for Undertow. Yay, one letter closer And this was T is for Trespass. Be careful who you hire to take care of your elderly family members. Don't do just a simple basic background check, which nowadays we have a little easier time. I mean, it's not impossible for somebody to steal identities, obviously. Might be even easier. But to also then get gainfully employed, that's another thing. Do your work. Do your research. Don't rely on the authorities, because they are useless. Sorry to say. Sorry, not sorry. At least in this book they are. Anyways, thankfully Solana, fake Solana, and her son died. So no more of them. Bye bye. Bye bye bye. Let me know what you thought. Bye.